Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman, and I'm so excited you're with us today. We're here to empower you, your friends, your family, and your loved ones to be healthy and well naturally. And the one thing that I love about health is that you were made to be well. You were made to function at a high level of health and vitality so that you could be the best you ever. And today we have one of the most amazing wellness chiropractors in the world on. Her name is Dr. Jessica, and I've got to tell you, she's so wonderful. She brings this plethora of information that can flat out save your health and your life. She also takes it another route. She also adds even more value and empowers you to take care of your health naturally. She'll talk to us about food, about supplementation, and about how it's so important for you to set up your life to be healthy and well, have wonderful people around you, and do the things that you absolutely love and enjoy to do in your world. The other guest that I have on, I've got to tell you, I have known her since I was in high school, and she has been one of my best friends. And I've got to tell you, she's not only gorgeous, has the most beautiful rock-hard body. Her name is Kim DeAngelis. And I've got to tell you, we've got some amazing things that she's going to teach you. But it's so important for you to move your body. And she not only does trapeze work, is Pilates specialist, personal trainer, a fabulous mom, a wonderful wife. And I've got to tell you, I'm honored to not only have her here, but she looks smoking hot. I can't wait for you to see the heels she has on. I wish I could wear them. And we're going to take a quick commercial break because I can't wait for us to not only delve into how you, your family, your friends, and your children can be healthy and well naturally, but Dr. Jessica is going to rock your world.
Christman Family Chiropractic, a creating wellness center located at 2310 Churchville Road, Suite C in Bel Air, is enhancing lives through the power of a chiropractic adjustment. As a licensed chiropractor in Maryland and Pennsylvania, Dr. Evan Christman can correct damage from years of lifestyle stresses while educating you to maintain good health for your lifetime. A dedicated professional with a very special focus on children with learning differences and autism, Dr. Christman treats people of all ages, newborn babies, children, pregnant women, families, seniors, and professional golfers. Isn't it time for you to reclaim your life? Take your first step toward health and vitality today. Call Christman Family Chiropractic, a creating wellness center at 410-734-4060, and let their experienced staff show you how to restore the flow of life. 410-734-4060, or check them out at restorelifeflow.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman, and I'm so excited you're with us today. We're here to empower you, your friends, your family, and your loved ones to be healthy and well naturally. And the one thing that I love about health is that you were made to be well. You were made to function at a high level of health and vitality so that you can be the best you ever. And today we're talking to one of the most amazing wellness chiropractors in the world. Her name is Dr. Jessica. Dr. Jessica, welcome to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, you are welcome. So, Dr. Jessica, I've known you for quite a long time now, and I've got to tell you, you are an amazing, amazing chiropractor. Not only because you change the way people view and see their health and their life, but you also take things even further. You know, as I say, chiropractic is one of the most important, vital needs that we have in our health and our life. However, you also talk to us about why it's so important to pick the right foods for your family and supplementation. Tell me, Dr. Jessica, how did you become a chiropractor? What led you down this path?
Well, I was actually pre-med at Ohio State, and I wanted to be a thoracic surgeon. And I had been having some pretty nasty headaches that medicine would pretty much put me in the bed to take care of. And that was my first introduction to the chiropractic profession. And you know, the chiropractic helped, and I was like, wow, this is great. It's a little better than an aspirin, definitely better than the massive drugs. And I just went periodically when I felt the headache coming on. And about 6 months later, I was hit and blew 2 tires out on my car, crossed 5 lanes of traffic sideways, and ended up in a ditch. And it was a pretty severe accident that left me unable to move my right arm.
Oh, wow.
And there was really no medical reason why I couldn't move my right arm. But that was a bit difficult since I was on a path to be a surgeon. You needed, you know, your primary arm. So I went back to the chiropractors. I was like, oh, he did so good for the headaches. Maybe he can figure this arm thing out. And I was the worst patient. I've even called and apologized to him because I know I was the worst patient. It took me 9 months to get the use of my arm back, and I whined probably every visit that entire time. And at the end of the 9 months, it was literally like somebody had just switched on the light. I woke up one morning, the pain was completely gone. I had complete function back. And I went in, and I was so excited. And he looked at me, and he goes, well, by the way, I got a couple other questions to ask you before you leave today. He goes, how's your asthma? And I kind of took a moment, and I was like, oh, my gosh, I can't even remember the last time I had problems breathing. And he goes, well, you told me when you first came in you were on some supportive stuff for your sinuses, and every other month you'd be on antibiotics for, an infection. When was the last time you were on any of that? And I realized it had been 8 months ago. So here in this 9-month period of time, not only did I get my arm back, but I got my lungs back, I got my sinuses back, I realized my energy was better, I was sleeping better. And I was just sitting there kind of dumbfounded, and he goes, why do you want to be a doctor? And I said, well, I want to help people. And he goes, why don't you help them before they get to the point where they need surgery? Why don't you prevent all that? And I was just like, oh, my God. And so I switched everything and was in chiropractic school.
Wow.
And it has been a complete blessing to me since then.
I've got to tell you, there's so many children out there, there's so many people that have migraines, that have asthma, that have sinus problems, and they don't even realize that the chiropractor may be the answer. Tell me, Dr. Jessica, how is it that chiropractic helped you? I mean, what's going on here that the rest of the community and the world doesn't know about?
Well, I think we're kind of, the hidden secret of the healthcare profession. It's almost to the point where it's too simple, it's too easy. You mean if I just got myself aligned, if I just got an adjustment, that my health would restore? But health is complicated, isn't it? And that's what we've been taught. If you watch TV, if you watch commercials, you listen to the radio, you look at magazines, everything is supported by the pharmaceutical agency. And that's all the ads you ever see is that health somehow comes outside of us. In reality, it doesn't. It's all internal. It has tremendously everything to do with how well the body can communicate, how well the fuel is. And I use a lot of car analogies because I'm a huge Porsche fan. And I said, you would never put diesel in a Porsche. And everybody knows, oh, my gosh, no, you would never do that. And I'm like, you wouldn't even put low-grade fuel in a Porsche. And they're like, oh, my gosh, no. And I'm like, well, why are you eating McDonald's?
Interesting. So talk to me about this, because being a mom, one of the things I said to my husband the other day was, I've got to tell you, if everything was drive-through, I'd go. However, I take it back because I don't go to the fast food places. I'm really, really crystal clear with the food that I feed my family and my daughter. Talk to me about that, because there are many people that come into, practices, they want to restore their health, but they don't oftentimes get the connection of how food's affecting not only their life, their children's life, but their family's life.
Well, one of the parts of the body that I explain in great detail to all of my patients is the function of the gut, the stomach, the intestine. And it's actually a separate nervous system called the enteric nervous system. And the enteric nervous system's job is to take the food that you give it and produce 90% of your brain's chemistry, 80% of your body's immune system, and 100% of your body's ability to repair itself. And so when you start looking at the foods that are out there, and this is a hard conversation because never in our life has there ever been an opportunity where we've had to discuss food being a poison. But because of the chemicals that are being put on the food and the manner of which we're growing food and the genetically modified foods that are now been snuck into our diet, those foods are highly destructive to the enteric nervous system. So every time you eat this food, it destroys the body's ability to produce the brain chemistry. So you can't repair yourself. So your moods are affected. Your sense of contentment is affected. And most of the time, temper tantrums in children under the age of 5 is simply a blood sugar issue because you haven't actually fed them food that they can use. And when we get back and we start teaching patients how to feed their family, one of the biggest things that disappears is upsettedness, emotional upsettedness. Moms aren't depressed, dads aren't anxious, kids aren't throwing temper tantrum. Everything starts to focus and click. And that is such a beautiful thing because I tell all my parents, children are not designed to be a problem. They're designed to be a blessing. We're all designed to be a blessing. But when we have a fuel that's going into our body that disrupts the engine, then we clink a lot.
That completely makes sense. Totally makes sense. And as you said, you wouldn't take this fine machine, this Porsche, or, I love Mercedes-Benz. You wouldn't take that car that you love and you've spent all this money on and put low-grade fuel in it. You also wouldn't take it. I remember, my dad has a tractor store, and oftentimes we'd get mowers back in because employees of the landscaper would actually put dirt into the gas. They'd put grass clippings into the gas. Oftentimes we'd find beer bottles and cans shoved in certain areas of this mower. And, it makes sense. The mower's not going to work. So what are we doing to our bodies? The one thing that I often think of too is, as I said, I feed my daughter, I breastfeed her, but I also do chemical-free meats, vegetables, and fruits. I'm a stickler about her food. I do everything I can to make sure that her water is pure, clean, purified. I don't give her juices and all those other things. And I've got to tell you, this summertime we went to an event, and it was the first time ever. My husband said, "Hey, let's go get some ice cream." And we got ice cream. She's never seen ice cream before. She literally hugged tight to this ice cream cone, shoved it in her mouth, and wouldn't let go. And it just drooled down her face the whole time. But it was interesting because later on, my daughter's always pleasant. She's a joy to be around. I'm grateful and thankful for her. But I watched her mood, her attitude, everything about her, a little less than a year old, change. And tell me, how do you feed your family? Why is it so important for us to feed our children foods that nourish them than foods that create sickness and illness and disease in their health and their life?
Well, we had an unusual situation where my second child, we very, very quickly found out that food affected her emotional stability. And we started eliminating soy, and we started eliminating corn, and then we realized how wheat affected her, not only her, but, oh my gosh, everybody else in the family, just unknowingly. And so we did this big 90-day cleanse where we did no corn, no soy, no wheat, just to see how our body would function. And one of the largest things that I realized with myself was that there was always this sense of waiting for the other shoe to drop, this kind of sense of anxiety that I had just attributed to, well, you're a mom, you're a doctor, you take care of so much, you're always going to be a little anxious. And I kind of told people it was like almost like this stuff was crawling under my skin, just always making me a little unsettled. And what I noticed within about a week of no wheat is that feeling disappeared.
Wow.
And it started dawning on me like, oh my gosh, how many women and families, but women especially, are on medications for anxiety and depression because they feel like something's wrong, but they can't put a finger on it because nothing is wrong. And so they must be crazy. And so then they go get on this medication that just destroys certain aspects of their life. And it's all because the food is irritating them. And then when I did more research on wheat, come to find out it stimulates the same portion of the brain that heroin does. So it becomes an addictive quality. It's an opiate. And your body must have more. And so you start craving more, you start eating more. And if you look at our farm animals, we've taken the cows off the grass and we put them on grain. Ask any farmer and he'll tell you because it doubles their size in half the time. Well, look at our population. We're gaining weight like crazy and we can't figure out why. So when we take people off wheat, which, 10 years ago was crazy. What? You're taking me off wheat? That's insane. Nobody does that. And now very popular is the paleo diet. And so that's been very much more helpful for our patients to be able to have websites and books and Pinterest and be able to find ways to feed their family. And all paleo really is clean food. We're going to eat vegetables, we're going to eat clean meats, we're going to drink lots of water, and we're going to eliminate the chemicals that have been put into our diet.
God, and I've got to tell you, it's amazing not only what you begin to see in your children, but imagine if you began to learn about that too. So, Dr. Jessica, talk to me about, you start to empower people to make good choices and decisions about their food. You said paleo is a really great path to head down. What about the chiropractic adjustment? Where does that fit in? Because many people, when you talk to them and you say, hey, you look great. What have you been doing? They'll say, oh, yeah, I've been watching my food. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. I've been exercising. Yet the one thing that is devoid of their life is that chiropractic adjustment, because they don't even realize they should be showing up in a chiropractor's office. Why is that adjustment more important than the food that you're putting in your body?
Well, you have to have good communication, and especially any system that has had damage done to it, it has to be rebuilt. And the only thing that allows the brain to communicate with the rest of the body is a perfectly aligned spine. And the only person who does that is the chiropractors. So when we're talking about restoration of any sort, you have to rebuild. And that's what we are so wonderfully taught to do. And so it's key. I tell my patients, you can't go to the gym and work out. You can't eat the right foods. You can't have the right stress response if you have a nervous system that is disrupting your stress response, disrupting your function to your heart, disrupting your function to your gut, because you're still going to have problems.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. So that's where our foundation is always. You get adjusted, and then the other things are just, cherries on top, I guess.
There are many people that we've seen over our practice time, and we use equipment just as I'm sure you do. It's called the Millennium Subluxation Station. It's NASA state-of-the-art technology, and it shows us how the stresses from your lifetime, physical, chemical, and emotional, have stained that nervous system. And the nerve system, as Dr. Jessica said, it sends signals out to every single organ, tissue, and cell in the body, and up to the brain, to the body, and back again. And that chiropractic adjustment restores that communication. But we have seen over time people that, oh my God, they look like they're in the best shape of their life. You take a picture of their central nervous system, you do an exam, and their nervous systems are oftentimes in the worst shape. Tell me, what's that final message? If there's anything you could say to somebody to get them through that chiropractor's door, just to simply show up, what would that be?
I think on some level, no matter what you do, there's still something that's not quite right until you add in the chiropractic. And when you really just sit down knee to knee with a patient and go, would you rather get to the source of the problem, or do we just keep wanting to cover it up? And again, I use a ton of analogies, and I'm like, everything you're doing is just reaching into that fire alarm that's screeching at the top of its lungs, and you're just pulling those batteries out. I said, and so it's going to just continue to burn until there's a bigger problem. And they understand that, because on some level they know something isn't 100%. And within, we use the insights as well. And when you can show them, hey, look, this test has nothing to do with how you tell me today you're feeling. Let's look at these colors that are up and down that are just showing inflammation and damage. And then you can show them the repair of that. And they're sold. There's nothing else out there that does that for them. And so that's always the key for my patients is they want to get to the bottom line and get it fixed.
And they want to be well. So, Dr. Jessica, tell me, there has to be somebody that you've seen over your lifetime that their health in their life has absolutely changed. For me, the stories that always get me are for children. Is there anybody throughout your practice life that you've just seen absolutely flat out amazing changes that you'd love to share with us today?
The one that just gets me all the time is the family struggling to have children. And I have 4 children myself, and then my practice is a huge child-based practice, and I know what joys are to have a child. I've also had a miscarriage, so I know the pain of losing a child and then desperately wanting to be pregnant again. And when you have families that come to you and everything has failed for them to have a child, and they're pregnant, and then you're invited into that delivery room to be with them during that birth and actually adjust their child right there, it's breathtaking. It really is amazing. And so for me, it's all those little babies that are here now because the parents chose to take care of their bodies first and heal their bodies first, which allowed them to function again. And pregnancy is a basic function of a healthy body. And that for me is the key. That I love more than anything.
Isn't that a blessing? I know our daughter was checked, and adjusted within 3 hours of birth. We have also been grateful and thankful to see so many newborns. I always feel honored that, we're their first stop. after they're born. And I've got to tell you, when you have a beautiful life that's made to thrive, it's such an honor to have them in your life. And Dr. Jessica, tell me, how can people reach you? Because you have so many wonderful things to share with our world. How can they find you if they're looking for you to learn more information?
My website is simplerealhealing.com. And that's what we do. We just get back to the very basics and help people heal.
And can you say that one more time, Dr. Jessica?
simplerealhealing.com.
So simplerealhealing.com. Dr. Jessica Dietrich March, thank you so much. You're such a blessing. I look forward to, and I hope that you come back on. I hope you have a great, great weekend. And thank you so much. And I can't wait for you to not only continue to tune in, but we have one of the most amazing trapeze, Pilates, and personal trainers on. Her name is Kimberly DeAngelos, and I can't wait for you to tune in. We're going to take a quick commercial break.
Christman Family Chiropractic, a creating wellness center located at 2310 Churchville Road, Suite C in Bel Air, is enhancing lives through the power of a chiropractic adjustment. As a licensed chiropractor in Maryland and Pennsylvania, Dr. Evan Christman can correct damage from years of lifestyle stresses while educating you to maintain good health for your lifetime. A dedicated professional with a very special focus on children with learning differences and autism, Dr. Christman treats people of all ages: newborn babies, children, pregnant women, families, seniors, and professional golfers. Isn't it time for you to reclaim your life? Take your first step toward health and vitality today. Call Christman Family Chiropractic, a creating wellness center, at 410-734-4060 and let their experienced staff show you how to restore the flow of life. 410-734-4060 or check them out at restorelifeflow.com.
And welcome back to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman. And I'm so excited you're with us today. We're here to empower you, your friends, your family, and your loved ones to be healthy and well naturally. And the one thing that I love about health is that you are made to be well. You are made to function at a high level of health and vitality so that you can be the best you ever. And today we're here with Kimberly DeAngelos. And I've got to tell you, she is so beautiful, not only in person, but she's been a part of my life for a very long time now. I met her in high school. She's always been an absolute knockout. And I've got to tell you, today she looks even more stunning. However, she is wonderful. She adds so many great things to people's lives. And I can't wait for you to not only learn more about her, but I've got to tell you, she's committed to empowering the world to move their body. And she does it in such an eloquent way. Kim, welcome to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So, Kim, tell me, how did you head down this path of doing what you're doing today?
Well, it was sort of by accident. I became a member at the Bel Air Athletic Club and started taking a bunch of classes there. And eventually, some of the people who work there encouraged me to become certified and start teaching because I think they were just tired of seeing me in their classes all the time. So I did, and I've been there for more than a decade.
Isn't that great? Wow. Well, I've got to tell you, for being there more than a decade, you look absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
I wouldn't believe it. So tell me, I see you on Facebook all the time in these positions that I don't think I could get myself in. She does trapeze work.
I do.
And Pilates. Tell me about that. What are you doing? Why is it so important for you to move your body like that?
I did gymnastics for quite some time. I probably stopped when I got to high school. And when I found Pilates, I found that my body just responded to it and remembered all of the different ways that I could be moving and sort of all the ways that I hadn't been moving in so long. Mm-hmm. And everything felt better, and I could feel all of the connections in my body start to come back to life, and I could feel the difference in how I moved and felt, and I wanted other people to feel that.
I love that. It's I'm ready to go.
I've invited you
too. Well, I'm in. That sounds good. We're going to set up a date to do that. So I've got to tell you, I think if I'm getting this right, you're traveling all over the world doing this, taking classes and learning even more. Where have you been?
I have been East Coast. I wouldn't say all over the world, but I've been.
Well, you're getting there,
I'm
right?
trying, sure. I've been up to Vermont. NECA has a school up there for circus arts. I have made some friends who were in Florida who I went down to see. I travel to D.C. Every week to teach down at the Trapeze School of New York in D.C.
Wow, that's really cool. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And so, what's the beginning phase? I mean, for somebody like me who has never done this before, I mean, what can I expect?
You can expect to feel things that you haven't felt before. It's hard work to get back into it. I think that's the hardest thing. I think that's much more difficult than sticking with something that you've already established. If you can get yourself in the door, make that commitment to do something for yourself and make yourself a priority and how you feel, which will affect everyone else around you. That's the hardest thing. You can expect to feel sore, maybe tired at first, but eventually it becomes addicting and energizing, and you would never want to not have that in your life.
You know what? It sounds like a chiropractic adjustment to me, because I've got to tell you, it completely changes your life in such a beautiful, positive manner.
Well, one way that Pilates goes hand in hand with that is the spine is sort of the backbone, obviously, of what we're working with. So we're working with the spine in different positions to strengthen the core so that everything works together properly. So we are putting the back through all of its different positions, and that's sort of the key to the health and positions there.
That's wonderful. And I want to take you back a bit and begin to think about it in a chiropractic mindset, is that Kim is doing amazing work, and she's empowering people to not only be well, but to work that spine so that you can become stronger. However, like a tree, when you begin to see a tree that's bent, oftentimes we as human beings, we want to, take ropes around those trees and tie it down so it's nice and straight and strong, right? And think about this. If you were to begin to do those type classes on a central nervous system, a spine that is not functioning at a high level of health and vitality, then in turn, you're making it strong and really do what it needs to do, but you're doing it in a way that allows that spine or that memory to build strong in a manner that is not stable and healthy and well. And that continues to allow that body to continue to be sick and ill. And so talk to me about, how do you think that you can have people go and get adjusted and also go do Pilates? I think to me it sounds like they go hand in hand.
One of the things that people discover quickly when they start with anything, but especially with Pilates, is feeling how one side of their body feels different than the other. And that is always something that people will find. No one has a perfectly symmetrical body. So sometimes it takes a movement that really they can actually see watching themselves, that one side is so different than the other. So just being, Pilates can help you just become aware of those imbalances in your body.
Isn't that the truth? And then you've got to go to your local wellness chiropractor. For me, it's my fabulous husband, Dr. Michelle Christman. Tell me, Kim, what's the lesson you've learned? What have you learned out of this process of doing everything that you do that's so important for someone's health? Why is it important for people to move their bodies?
The thing that I think the most is you feel the difference in the way you move. You feel that you're able to accomplish everything more easily, and the way that you move feels different, and that changes the way that you feel about yourself.
I love it. Kim, how can people reach you so that they know how to not only find you, but enroll in your classes and begin to move their bodies?
You can reach me through my email at the Bel Air Athletic Club. It's kdeangelis@wellbridge.com. It's kdeangelis@wellbridge.com.
Thank you so much, Kim.
You're
and
welcome.
I've got to tell you, what Kim's doing is amazing. I'm so proud of her. It's such an honor. And I was also a bridesmaid in her wedding.
She was.
You know that. But thank you so much, Kim. And I want to say that I'm grateful and thankful for you for being a part of our lives. And also, you're listening live every Saturday from 8:30 to 9 in the morning to Wake Up to Wellness with Michelle Christman, where I interview the most amazing wellness doctors and celebrities throughout the world. And you can listen to me on WAMD 970 AM, WYRE 810, WKHZ 1460, WJSS 1330, and you can watch me live on KHZTV.com. That's KHZTV.com. Take great care of your health. I can't wait for you to tune in next Saturday.
Christman Family Chiropractic, a creating wellness center located at 2310 Churchville Road, Suite C in Bel Air, is enhancing lives through the power of a chiropractic adjustment. As a licensed chiropractor in Maryland and Pennsylvania, Dr. Evan Christman can correct damage from years of lifestyle stresses while educating you to maintain good health for your lifetime. A dedicated professional with a very special focus on children with learning differences and autism, Dr. Christman treats people of all ages: newborn babies, children, pregnant women, families, seniors, and professional golfers. Isn't it time for you to reclaim your life? Take your first step toward health and vitality today. Call Christman Family Chiropractic, a creating wellness center, at 410-734-4060 and let their experienced staff show you how to restore the flow of life. 410-734-4060 or check them out at restorelifeflow.com.